Oh boy. Hold on a second, y'all. Okay, there it is. Theme may not be very long today. I treated myself to Burger King to celebrate having mostly finished setting up Shootlands stuff. I overestimated how much energy I'd have. I may have had an anxious last night, and probably stayed up a little bit later than I should have. So there's that. So there's that, and then there's also just the fact that like Burger King is very good, but also it does the thing where like the rest of my sleep schedule grabs me by the face and says, "Go lie down." So I want to at least stream a little bit today, and then before anybody that's lurking in the crowd is then tempted to say, "Then go to bed, goof." I am on the record as saying that if I do get dozy enough, I will in fact go lie down, and I plan on taking a nap after stream, or I may just go to bed after stream, one of those two. But my main point being TM. My main point being TM that I'm going to behave, and I do not have to be I know better than tell you to go to bed at 10 p.m. Yeah. Like, I don't think I'm gonna like sleep. I just need like a nap for like a little bit, I think. If I try to go to sleep anytime before 10 o'clock, I'm going to be up at all kinds of really fucked up hours of the night. And the answer to that is no, actually, I don't. That is not a thing I want to do. Okay, so let me go. Fine. Okay, so let me see here. You know, this one. So yeah, I would like to make it to 9, but if anything, I may stop at like 8:30 and then like conk out. So the main reason why we're not doing Shootlands stuff at the particular moment is because pretty much there's only like one major thing I have left to do for Shootlands before we show it at Play NYC on Friday. I went to go do setup for it today. Excuse me. I went to go do setup for it today, which is part of what wound up giving me a big yawn, aside from Um, hey, Stubby. Okay, so let's take a look and let me assess where we actually left off this last time. And then what I want to actually try to do today as far as this game is concerned. God. Damn it, chat 2. I keep forgetting I just need to restart. So now I know for sure. I have to actually restart chat 2 beforehand, because doing it, or mix it up rather, sorry. Sheesh. I was looking at my thing and I got mixed up. Mix it up, I have to very clearly restart beforehand, because it didn't go off the way it was supposed to. So let's adjust a couple of things here, shall we? Anyway, thank you, Stubby, for the resub. I deeply appreciate it. 62 months, damn. How time flies. So yeah, thank you for the hype. I deeply appreciate it. Yeah, again, especially when hype in the chat, I'd also appreciate that. So yeah, pretty much everything is set up as far as the booth is concerned. We just will be dropping off the actual arcade machine there a little later. Not just yet. So I decided that instead, let's see here. I could have sworn. Alright, hold on a second. I gotta go find a sprite for this thing, because I'm pretty sure. Where is it? Oh god, I messed up my pinned. I messed up my quick access bar on my yeah, to fix that later, because I messed that entire thing up just now. And I'm just looking at that and I'm like, that's a lot of things that have to manually unpin. Hey, Cat Wizard. Okay, there we go. I never made more sprites, and I've lost the original sprite sheets for this, which means that we just kind of have to go. We're probably just gonna have to go with this for a while, which is unfortunate, because it looks like I've lost the original sprite sheets, so. Yeah. How are you doing, Cat Wizard? Hopefully well. Pardon if I'm like a little quiet. I'm a little eepier than usual. But I am going to do my best to still keep it together, TM. I'm good, way better than yesterday. Remember to take my meds helped. It does indeed be like that sometimes. Okay, there we go.
Stay. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Hold on.
Final launch.
We hit the sound
Final
test part of the soundtrack that I was listening to. That's why it's doing this. Hold on.
KO. Double KO. Time up. Game over. Versus. You win. Lose.
Yeah, we hit the sound test part of the OST that we were listening to. So I gotta find the right thing. This'll do.
Sony Computer Entertainment America presents a Universal Interactive Studios production. A game created and developed by Naughty Dog.
Ah, Naughty Dog.
Crash Bandicoot 4. Press start to begin.
Oh, there are so many things that used to be so cool about you, Crash. Well, I mean, It's About Time is still good. Toys for Bob did a really good. Toys for Bob did a really good job with Crash 4. I'm not upset about that. I don't know. I was just thinking about this the other day, where I don't want to get too deep into it because it's a rather serious. It's like a rather serious topic. I forgot to post that I'm going live. I can tell I'm kind of messed up. Yeah, I'm definitely taking a nap after stream. So I was wondering where I was hearing the distant counting coming from. Yeah. For right now, I don't even know if you're gonna have a sense area, little buddy. I'm just gonna do this. Your entire body is a hitbox, but the top of you is the hitbox that we can step on. So it's fine. Okay, right. One other thing we need to change is that your motion mode is floating. Whoops. Okay. Here we're just gonna script. We're gonna call it bird state drop in. Then we're gonna put this over here, and we'll click on this, and then this is just enemy state base. So the bird has a very interesting movement pattern. But the first thing I'm going to just start with is making sure that the bird does the thing it's supposed to do. Oh, right. Those declarations are supposed to go in here. That's why I got upset. Actually, we might as well just do one more. Duplicate and then bird state movement. Alright, here's what we get. Here's what we get interesting. Because I never remember how to do this, so we're gonna have to go look it up. Oh, cool. Metroid Prime got its rating. Metroid Prime 4 specifically got its rating from the ESRB. That's nice. Remember, y'all, just because the game gets delayed doesn't mean that it's going to turn into Duke Nukem Forever. Alright, let's see here. The number of times I actually have to just go back and keep using a sine wave and keep looking up how to actually do sine wave movement in Godot is... Alright. Pivot to video is still one of the worst things for certain things, I think. Okay. You know, I appreciate this script, because even though it's written in this person that I'm looking at, that gave an example in GD script, and even though I don't use GD script, this is still useful. Oh, that's going to be ugly looking, because I can't do that. Alright, I'm going to lose sight of... No, I can avoid losing sight of chat for a minute if I just do the split window over here. If I manage to get a third monitor, my life is going to transform so much. Okay, so let's see here. We just want... Oh, it's going to do public override. Ooh. We want now double sign calculation. Now we're gonna return sign. What do we want? Okay, cool. There we go. So from the video that I found, assuming that this is correct, right? This might get messed up, but we have to see. The basic idea here is that if I take the sine value of, so the idea here behind how like the bird is supposed to move is relatively straightforward. After dropping for a certain period of time, the bird will move forward at a constant rate while its vertical movement is controlled by a sine wave. That's the basic idea here. We have to see how true that turns out to be in practice, but that's the idea. So yeah, again, I say this a lot during a lot of these streams, but one of the things that I will kind of emphasize is that if you're like, is there a type of math that I should learn in order to really like actually be good at, you know, this whole thing? To which my response is, really, trig is not the only type of math that's helpful for video games, but it is very helpful. Okay, autocomplete, you were pretty... Okay, I'm saying this is a joke. Okay, autocomplete, you're actually pretty clever. I can almost believe that you do in fact think the way that people say that you think. I could believe that. Almost. Alright, I forgot to make sure that the bird, when it's spawned, automatically starts in the drop-in state. Because the idea is that the bird will drop in for like 3 seconds, and then after 3 seconds of dropping, it starts doing the other movement. Oh. Which means I wrote something wrong here. Alright, then we'll do it. We'll do all that over here. I'm gonna turn off the bird's push box right now. Let's see here. Okay, which means that we should also cut the rate at which it falls in by a bit, I think, right? Yeah, messed up. Pressed the button I was supposed to press. Mostly before I put the bird in to be spawned in, I want to make sure that its behavior is correct, primarily. I guess that's the other thing to test. Is it falling on its own? Yes, that would be why. Okay. Try something different here. Change the tactic. Hold on. Oh, that's upset. It's upsetty. Hang on a second. I gotta... Okay, all those things are the same. Hold on a second. Okay, no, it has to remain, and it has to remain. Okay, oh, change type. We need to go back to being a... Okay, so there's something else that I'm overlooking here. Okay. Okay. There's one thing I just want to see real quick. Because there's no... Oh. That's why. I didn't switch this. I'm like, why is it... Why does the bird keep calling? It's because I forgot to actually switch the script over to bird script. That's why. Enemy sprite. State machine. Animation player. Hitbox. Upper hurt box. Lower hurt box. I literally forgot to change the script, and that's why. I'm like, why are you falling still? You shouldn't be doing that. Like, I'm just sitting here going, why are you doing that? You shouldn't be doing that. Alright. So that means that we should go back over to the drop-in script, and we need to do this part still. Maybe cut 2, and then we'll just do 2 seconds. Because the idea is that the bird is going to drop straight down for a little bit, and then... Yeah, much better. Mostly. And then it's not doing any falling because we need to go take the stuff from the blockhead script and adjust it a little bit. Yeah, bird script TM, correct. Okay, good. So now that's actually working, which means that we need to take the actual drop in. Now we can cut this down to some absurd number so that hold on a second. Let me see here. We're just going to do something real quick here. So we're going to start off by assuming that gravity is true. And then over here, well, what I should do actually, this is going to be true for any enemies that I use. We're going to worry about whether or not gravity is enabled or not. So I should do it in the base enemy script over here and then only actually utilize it over here. Then over here, hitbox hurtbot checks, physics functions, cool. I'm gonna do public void toggle gravity, cool, new value. And then for the bird, at least, we're gonna do this and this is very simple. Oh, right. So we're gonna do it like this. Very important distinction. I can appreciate it. Yeah. Okay. So the only thing that seems to be an issue is that. Okay. Bird state movement, that's false. Okay, bird state drop in. Okay, so the real question is why is the bird not falling at that point? The amplitude might be too big. That could be an issue. So here's what we're going to do actually. I'm going to do region exported
Sony Computer
variables.
Entertainment America presents
I forgot how many songs they reuse in Crash Bandicoot.
a Universal Interactive Studios production. A game created and developed by Naughty
Yeah, we're not
Dog.
doing it twice. You're good. We'll do this one. Alright. Because it occurs to me that maybe the main reason why this is an issue is because I might have made both. I might have made either the amplitude or the frequency too big. But the bird never comes back up. Okay. I forgot to change what's playing. Hold on. Yeah, how you can tell I'm messy. Yeah. Okay, so the period is never. It looks like the period is never going back up at all. Okay, so let's start with this instead. Okay, so then why? Oh, I know that we have an ad going right now, so. Oh, I did it backwards, that's why. That's why. When everybody comes back, I'll explain it. Yep, that's how you can tell I am a mess, because I stopped and I looked and I went, oh, it's because I literally did this backward. And I feel goofy. For those of you that aren't in ad hell, it's because I had these conditions wrong. I said that if gravity is enabled, then we do falling stuff. Or I had it backwards. Yeah, there. Now it's doing the thing that I would expect it to do. So here's what we're actually going to do. Gravity is always going to be false for this thing. And I'm going to do enemy script back dot change. Velocity is enemy. There we go. Take your time with a nice controlled little fall so I can see. And then when you're done doing that, you can see. Good. Okay, good. So for anybody who was in ad hell, I figured out what I was doing wrong. I had this part where it says gravity enabled double equals true that I added in over here. I had the true set to false. So it was applying gravity literally in situations where it wasn't supposed to be applying gravity at all. So that's my fault. That's why. I literally had it backwards because I wasn't looking at what I was typing. Oopsies, beta. Oopsies. I'm not a killer, but don't push me. You get that reference? Anyway, let's try this now. I think this should work correctly now. Yeah, there we go. It's a little hard to tell because of how slow it is. But let's pick up the frequency and we should be able to see it if I did this correctly. Yeah, that's better. And then the amplitude. Hold on a second. I should just be doing it over here because the point of having done it like this is that we can then do this. Like I went to all that trouble of turning them into exported variables and I didn't actually use them correctly. Okay, we're getting there. Yeah, much better. But this means that I do have to actually crank up. I'm gonna have to crank up the frequency and amplitude values in order to actually get something out of them. So because it looks like it's working. It's just that I mostly need to make sure I crank up the values now so I can actually get. Hold on a second. Let me make sure that I actually read this other thing correctly. Okay. Okay, which is those frequency and amplitude values are about to be extremely out of control. Because without it, even if I think if I leave the frequency at 1 but the amplitude at 16, we might get some shenanigans. Okay, there we go. So I just have to be careful, I think, about how high I crank up the frequency. We could try 2. I shouldn't need to crank it that high. But the basic idea here is that when we do sine wave movement, this is the wave that we're describing, right? And as you can see, the bird is following that. The bird is following that movement, so it's just mostly a matter of like we just want to get it to happen more frequently and then reduce how high the actual variance is in terms of like the way that the wave waves. So we're going to cut this in half and multiply this by 4. And we're just going to keep playing with it till we get a number that we like. Yeah, there we go. Much better. Oh, jeez. Alright then. You went Mume, and we don't want that, actually. You're good here, buddy, actually. Like, you can chill. You don't need to go that fast. Um, that bird had the zoomies. So we're going to let the bird have gravity and then go from there. And then all we really have to do is just reduce the drop timer so that the bird... Well, the bird is going to be dropping from higher up anyway. Like, the bird is going to be dropping from approximately from one of the two starting spots up there. So we can do one here, and then we can just keep reducing the movement speed horizontally. Just do 500. And then your fall speed can be like 1500. We don't need you going like... Yeah, we don't need you doing the like the turbo fall. Then we have maybe one thing where if the bird manages to catch you in its sight range, and much better. All right, let's tighten that frequency some more. So I talked about this probably vaguely like the last time that probably like the last time we talked about sine wave movement, but the basic idea behind sine wave movement, right, is that the frequency... So if you think of a sine wave, right, this is a sine wave. So the idea behind the frequency of a sine wave is that the higher the frequency is, the closer those waves are compressed together, which means that you're going through said waves more often. So with a sine wave at a high frequency, at least as applied to movement here, what we get is that movement, right? Where you'll notice that, you know, the bird is doing many more actual waggles, like the wave is tighter, so to speak, or the movement is tighter looking because the waves are closer together, so it's more constantly doing this. Whereas the amplitude is a measure of how high and by proxy how low those waves will go, right? So when we increase the amplitude, we also increase... So when we increase the amplitude, we increase how big the wave is, right? We increase how big the wave is, and as an end result of that, increase how high and how low the thing that is moving will be able to go. So I think I should be able to do... So 16 amplitude means that, like, we get a relatively deep wave, right? And I'm just tweaking these numbers little by little because I'm trying to figure out what fits best for Oh yeah, right. We can't do both those together. It will get upsetting. So we just have to do it like this. So it does cause the it does have the bird doing a little bit of a hitch at the spot, at the point where let's try this instead. I expect it'll still cause issues with the X velocity, but let's see here. Yeah. Yeah, that'll have to do. So yeah, it'll do a little bit of like a funny little hiccup there, but that's... I can live with that. So we'll save that, come over here. Now over here in the enemy spawn points, for spawn points number 3 and number 4, spawnable enemies, we're going to increase the size so it also includes birds. And now in the actual spawn point, we need to like set this thing up. One last thing. That's what I thought. Public void change fixing. And then we can do, on the spawn point, we're going to do Oh wait, hold on. Sorry, I gotta make sure of like one thing. Okay, I think that's okay. I think I just have to stop and double check to make sure that I actually had code for properly converting which enemy got picked into that, which I did. It's just that oh yeah, I forgot. In the time since we started, I have in fact oh, it's getting upsetty. Hold on. Oh right. Silly me, forgot to do that. Um Basically I was getting upset because so basically speaking, this code here basically this code here is set up so that essentially if our list of spawnable enemies is only one, we only spawn that enemy. If it's not, then we pick a random range between the two numbers that we give it. So we want 0, and then we want to make sure that we take the total number of enemies we have and subtract 1 from it, because the valid numbers will always the total of it'll always the valid numbers that should go in there will always ever be like, oh yeah, one less than what the maximum value is. So if there are two enemies, the two values that belong in there are 0 and 1. And I hadn't accounted for that initially when I did this, so there we go. That should fix that. Yeah, it's good. We can probably lower the wait time just, or we can have it randomize between a couple of values. I like that better, actually. It's really mean, but I want to do that, actually. um, this is funny. It's funnier this way, we're gonna do it this way because it's fun. It's funnier this way. So in the drop-in state, we have a private variable already. We're gonna do this. This will be funnier. Oh, whoops. Uh, Hang on, I messed up. I got rid of something I shouldn't have up here. All right, I shouldn't do that. Just need to do this. Okay. Hang on. What? Okay, let me see. On this screen, let me look at it over here just to see what. Okay. All right. Sorry, I got distracted by something. Let's do. Which one of these was it? I just did it over here. I'm gonna go back over to the spawn point, and the thing that we need is this thing. So we're gonna do gd dot range 0. Drop in times gd.range drop in times dot count -1, right? So same thing that we did with the other thing, right? The basic idea here is that we have this drop in times array, right? We have 3 values in it. So this is value number 0, value number 1, value number 2, which means that the highest number that we want in here, the count will be 3, but the highest number we want is 2. So we subtract 1 from whatever the count is, so we can add as many drop-in times as we want. But the basic idea here is that now, right, whenever the bird does a drop-in, it will randomly pick between those 3 times. Hi, CJ. How you doing? So what this should do basically is create a slight variance in height. It should create a couple of slight variances in the heights that the birds stop dropping at when they do stop dropping. Yeah, so 0.5 is probably too high. Whatever the lowest number is, this is too high. So probably we want 0.6, 0.75, 0.8, right? So basically what happens is that we get just enough drop, because 0.5 is a little bit too high up, right? So actually, now this means that there's another way that we could do this, right? If I define the minimum and maximum value of what the drop-in times are, I can also do it that way. So let's say that in this particular case, for the drop-in times, we really just want gd.rand range, and we're going to give it a minimum and a maximum. So we'll do 0.6 to 0.9, right? And in this case, because we don't want to have to deal with like magic, again, we don't want to have to deal with magic numbers, we should probably just do region consts and region, and we're going to just do const double drop min value equals 0.6, const double drop max value equals 0.9. Okay, so let's see here. So yeah, this should also do basically the same thing. Essentially speaking, that should randomize the drop times to somewhere between 0.6 and 0.9 for a bird when it does that thing. Okay, good. So that's better. But we can do better than that. We can do so now, right? If for whatever reason I need to reference the drop minimum and drop maximum value in some other places, right? Now I have a relatively decent idea of what that minimum maximum value. Well, I'm using constants anyway, so it wouldn't matter. But the main point that I'm getting at is that usually it is better not to use magic numbers, where it's like, all right, I kept fiddling with this, and it turned out to be this the thing. Okay, good. So the reason why the enemy made a sound when I hit it, why the bird made a sound when I hit it but didn't respond, is because I haven't set up all of the other. I haven't set up all of the other like response things. I haven't set up all of the other like response values that in terms of like hitboxes and stuff that the bird can like properly respond to and things of that nature, right? So, like, if I stomp on the bird, it will make the sound as if I've hit it, but it won't react and do that other stuff until I properly wired up the rest of its states. Which is fine, because I mostly just wanted the movement stuff to be working correctly first anyway. I need to check something about the maximum number of spawns real quick. in the... I gotta go to game state play. Take a look real quick. So I just gotta check where this has changed real quick. Okay. So it gets that list, and then, okay, so then I did do that correctly. Where the basic idea is that the number, so basically speaking, with this game, the idea is that the number of enemies that spawn simultaneously will increase every, at a specific interval of time. Um, oh, yeah, here it is. So basically speaking, right, there is something internally within the game called a hazard level. And the hazard level basically measures how, essentially speaking, the current difficulty, quote unquote, of the game as it is, so to speak. And the idea behind the hazard level increasing is that basically every 20 seconds or so, um, it gets evaluated, right? And so the idea is that every 20 seconds, basically speaking, so here's how it works. The hazard level itself does have a point at which it stops, right? Which means, hang on, 2, 4, 6, 8. Ah, that's where we have to. Okay. That said, though, I need to be careful because I think. Let me see something here. Because the thing I have to be careful about is that I don't overshoot one thing. I want to be careful about how I time this. Heck with it. All right, we're gonna uncap it because that's why we never. Because what happened when I looked, I'm like, why is it that we're only ever spawning 2 points? And it's because the hazard level has a hard cap. The hazard level has a cap on it. So what happens if I take the cap off? Basically, let me make sure though that there's not something else that I'm failing. I know that I have to be careful because I'm almost certain that there's something that was probably very dependent on the fact that there's only like four of those, and I need to be careful. Ah, that's what it was. The multipliers. That's what I was afraid of. I'm like, I know that there's a point at which the multipliers stop. So let's do it like this, basically. We're going to turn this into... Yeah, this is the part that I was worried about, right? Which is that, all right, so then let me think about this very carefully. We're going to turn this off, actually, is what I think we're going to do. We're going to get rid of that real quick. And what we're going to do is instead we're going to do public float current hazard multiplier get protected set. We're going to do that. And then we're just going to do instance dot current hazard multiplier. Very simple, right? Then we're going to do, then, so we have that as a public variable, right? Now it's a private variable. So region private variables and region. Do float. Or actually, no, it's even better as a const because I know it's only ever going to be one value. So we're going to do public const double default hazard level equals 1, public const double hazard increment value equals 0.5. Very simple, right? Because now all we really have to do is set that alarm so I don't forget that. Okay, cool. And then we're gonna do current instance dot. Okay, that's not supposed to be double, it's supposed to be a float. Okay, and now the only thing that we really have to do here is good. All we have to do is game manager dot increase hazard level. So basically speaking, now technically speaking, the hazard level is uncapped, and it will basically just keep on rising and keep on rising and keep on rising. I can still do this, but what I have to do really is make sure that I actually set the cap higher is really all that it is. So let me see here. Yeah, 10 should be enough because in no given level is there going to be any more than like 4 spawn points or 2, 4, 6, 8. Right? Otherwise, I'd have to like basically boost the hazard level to scale with the number of spawn points that there are, maybe, or at least make it so that like it caps out. It always caps out for the maximum of 4, something like that. One of those two. I could be a genius, or I could be. Oh. Okay. String that format times Nope, it should be game manager dot instance dot current hazard multiplier. And that should do it. Because I forgot that I removed that. Okay, so let's try that again. We're going to build so that it will actually tell me if there are any errors. None. Okay, baller. So technically speaking, the the cap is still. Oh, hold on. Damn it. Because I saw it say X0 and I'm like, wait, that's not right. Which means I have to go back over to the game manager. The current hazard multiplier starts at 1. That's my fault. I forgot to do that. The default value for that should be 1. Haha. Hee hee hoo hoo. Jokes. Anyway, it's fixed now. It should be. Yeah, there we go. I got caught. Oh yeah, I think screen shake is probably something new since the last time y'all were here. But yeah, that pretty much is it doing all the stuff. Not all the things that it needs to, because I have to basically the bird won't have like an X'd out oh gosh I died animation. Because I haven't it doesn't have a sprite sheet and I never made a sprite sheet for it in the original one, but I can still program it to respond to all of the other. I can still program it to respond to all the other things, and ideally speaking, I will. I just yeah, I'll figure it out at some point. But yeah, basically, all I really need to do is set up the other states for. I have to just set up the other states for the bird to use to respond to when it's contacted with, like what the. So I'll show you an example of what I mean. Right? If we go take a look over at the blockhead script, right? We have set up over here, right, an actual section where it responds to its hurt boxes, you know, being hit. Some of these I probably, yeah, probably this one I should migrate over into the base. Um, Maybe not. I may not be able to because it may have to be a very specific thing that happens for each of these things, I think. Um, Because I think even if I do like try to do some inheritance stuff, I'll have to reduplicate the code at some point. Anyway, this thing here where it says on upper hurt box area entered is for stomping, right? Um, I have to do some other things with um, the player's actual ability to like charge into, because stomping works fine, right? Let me go find the player's code and look at the rush thing real quick. I haven't commented any of this code, and that's really, really bad because now this means that when I look at it later, I'm going to have a dick of a time trying to figure out where a lot of this other stuff came from. Okay, so let's see here. Um, okay, which means that actually is probably over here. Where is it? Okay, right, that's why. So essentially speaking, the way that I set this up is relatively straightforward, right? The way that I set this up is relatively straightforward. Um, a lot of the animation stuff is deliberately handled on the end of each individual enemy that implements it, right? Because I want to control like the state that does the spinning out and all that other stuff, and I could hardwire it into each state, but that's a little bit of work. So essentially, or that's not the way I meant to say it. I could do a thing where I basically set it up so that it's configurable without me having to program extra stuff, where I can just go, okay, just so you know, this is the spin out state, go to this state. To demonstrate what I mean, right? I'll literally do this right now. State machine dot change state spin out state. No. And then up here in the exported variables, I can do export state, spin out state, right? Just as an extra safety check, we're going to do this, right? So if we have an actual spin out state, we should change to it. So by doing this, if I save this now and I go over to the bird, for example, I have to stop the game. If I go over to the bird at this point, you'll notice that now there's a box that says spin out state. We don't have one for the bird, so not going to worry about that. Blockhead.tscn. Over here, on the other hand, the blockhead now has one. Spin out state is this one. That's what we want. So what this means now is on the blockhead script, I can come over here and literally just get rid of this, right? Because what will happen is when I hit, ideally assuming that I did this correctly, when I hit the blockhead, now it should go into, because I've set that up and I ideally saved it. If I hit it and it starts spinning, it should go into its own spin out state without me having to like explicitly say, this is where you go in the coding. Yeah, see? Same effect as before. Yeah. And as you can see, it gradually stacks in complexity like that, like that, like that. And that's the reason why um, that's the reason why, in particular, I wanted to slightly randomize those heights at which the birds like drop in from and then start flying at, because then it it puts the players in a position where it's like, right, I do actually have to kind of pay attention a little bit more to the sky from there, right? But yeah, as y'all can see, right, by virtue of the fact that so for example, I can now do something very similar if I were to take the this code for the upper hurt box area entered. I could literally, if I made a state for, oh yeah, go here when you're squashed and you get stomped on, I could integrate that into the base enemy script and we don't have to worry about it, right? So there are a couple of things I could do to make my life easier, and a couple of functions I should probably integrate into the base script for the enemy script. That I might do, might not do. But those are not things that I will do tonight. After the ads are over, um, after ads are over for people who are in ads, we're gonna get up out of here because I eat beat. But ads need to be over first, and I need to take a look and see if there's anybody that I would like us to raid. Yeah, this is. But yeah, thank y'all for coming by. I'm pretty sure I know where we're gonna drop this off because thinking too hard about it is no good. So I'm pretty sure I know where I'm gonna put us, where I'm gonna drop us off. Um, Okay. Yeah. So we're probably gonna go hang out with Pleasantly Twisted. Um, okay, right. Let me not get distracted. I went to go. I went to go look at something. Okay, right. I got distracted by going to go look at a thing that I was told about, albeit indirectly. I'm like, all right, so what was actually said here? Oh, that's what was said here. Okay, that's interesting. Hang on, I'm doing a Mr. Wilson thing by accident. Let me fix that. All right. So thank y'all for coming by. Deeply appreciate it. Like I said previously, there are no more streams for the rest of this week. So I'm not streaming on Friday. I'm not streaming on Sunday. I'm going to be out at Play NYC, and I'll be walking that floor and working that floor for too long to come home and stream for y'all. Hold that shit. Next Wednesday is probably when I will be back doing more stream stuff. I may have to adjust the time a little bit depending on either things I have to work on for Shoot Lancer or for other stuff, maybe. So I may adjust stream time. If I'm still wiped out from Play NYC, I may cancel stream. I'll let y'all know closer to Wednesday. So either we will be back on Wednesday with more game dev stream stuff, or Friday with Fighting Friday stuff. Friday, definitely. Wednesday, we'll see. We're going to go hang out with Pleasantly Twisted. Currently, they're playing Dark Souls 2 right now. It's the first time. That gremlin of a person, Candy Bag CJ, that was in here earlier, is acting as their comms as PT goes through it. So we're going to go hang out over there. It's the raid message. Can you believe that I forgot whether or not PT's name actually has an underscore in it? I might have forgotten. That's the raid message. Throw in whatever emotes you want. They don't have the eye notes, etc. Links where I do stuff. Blog post stuff I'm going to sort out at some point. I think I found it's like called Ghost or something. I may do that over there and then link that to the NeoCities blog, because actually maintaining actual blog stuff on a NeoCities in terms of like writing the HTML and formatting everything is a pain in the ass, and I don't like it. I can do it, it's just annoying and I don't want to do it. Stream VODs are up on YouTube. Ko-Fi if you want to support me in the stream but don't want to give money to Amazon and Jeff Bezos. Throne, anonymous gift giving for stuff related to the stream. Card has all my other social media links on there, but let's be real, it's really mostly just Blue Sky at this point. Unity, that's who I'm going to be showing at Play NYC with. And Shoot Lancer, the game we're going to be showing off. So if you want to know more about us, that's our website. If you want to support us on Patreon, that's our Patreon. If you want to play the game for yourself, we should have builds for Windows, Mac, I think at least Windows and Linux for sure, maybe also Mac. A build is currently up on our itch page if you want to play it. Pay what you want for it. Then if you want to hang out with us, even when we're not doing like stream stuff, Gilded is the spot. If I was not going to be at Play NYC, for example, we would be watching more Common Rider build this Saturday. We're not doing that because I'm going to be too busy. Stay lovey. But yeah, stay safe. Wash your hands. If you go outside, please wear a mask. Be excellent to each other. We're not the bigots, racists, terrorists, sexist, queer folks, or fascists, or AI enthusiasts, or Gen AI enthusiasts, I should say. Like people who are really into like ChatGPT and Claude and Grok and Midjourney and shit. Nah, forget them. You don't need them. Anyway, thank y'all for hanging out. Deeply appreciate it. Have fun with PT. I may nap. I may not nap. I should nap, but I also I promise I'm on my call at the bottom of the hour. So I have to at least stay awake until then. Stay awake through that conversation, and then I might just go pass out. Thank y'all. Deeply appreciate y'all. I'll see you around, either Wednesday or Friday. Not this Friday. Either next Wednesday or next Friday, depending on how things go. If you're in the Gilded, I will endeavor to let you know how Play NYC went once it's done. Anyway, I'll catch y'all later. Look out for each other in all the ways you can. You don't have to do big stuff. Small stuff is enough. All right, y'all. Deuce.